Man, it's weird because so much of the stuff, like, that they showed me or told me or whatever, it's just one thing when it plays out in your head when they show you, but it's another thing when you see it actually happening. Like, seeing what people are talking about and what they're going through and stuff. And there's so much sadness. I mean, there's so much tragedy and stuff that people are going through. It's like, oh my God. And last night I had the worst. I laid down on the couch like at 6. I swear to God, I woke up at 8:30, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've already gone through all that wood, motherfucker. Like, I cannot believe how much wood I keep going through. It's so freaking cold, and that thing that they put in, I swear to God, I I feel like that it was set up, like that they could, the same thing as where people started having, they couldn't adjust if you had a smart meter, you couldn't adjust your own temperature and stuff. There's something weird with this thing in it. I have to have it off because it keeps blowing in a super cold air, making it colder and then making a lot of weird noises. And it's not just like because it's freezing kind of noises. No, it's these, like I said before, sometimes it'll just come on and start making noises and it's not even on. So I think it's something with the wiring and some sort of interference that they have over things. Like, there's so much more control than people realize of like why they use electricity and how they use currents, the current it's not, it's weird, currency, money, but I'm talking about the electric current. But anyways, so how they do that, like there's so much manipulation. I saw another video with that mom talking to the little blue avian girl, and she is so cute. She is, because when she's talking, she seems like, she does not seem like she's from here. Just the way she's like, yes, indeed, and stuff. Like, it's so cute. She talks just a certain cute way. But she was saying that, so her mom was asking, so what do you guys eat there? And she said, we eat plants, but we only need to eat like once a month. And she said that she was asking more stuff about it. I would imagine, I know some people want to interview that little girl, and I don't know. I was even thinking about sending some questions in. Just, I want to hear her answers. She's just so, she's not held back by people are going to think I'm weird or crazy. She just says, and I know it's true. I know there's tons and tons of souls here who have an awareness, and what is just so trippy is like when you watch the videos and you have this mix. So you have like people totally paranoid that are just like, oh my God, can you believe it? Will you guys listen what's happening? And that is about January, that one day, because of the outrageous ridiculousness of that bullshit. And then, that they're holding those people as terrorists. Like, it's some fucking bullshit. There's so much bullshit going on here with our government. One of the things I had just seen was this, like, she's on some sort of big thing. Like we have all sorts of like pockets of groups of people that are, popping up. That's what I'm like, you got to listen to your soul, because your soul is going to tell you what you're supposed to do. So I don't know if this woman's a lawyer. She sounded kind of like it, but she was talking about some big meeting that they had, and she just got back, and she's in Texas. And so she was talking to all of the people. So apparently there is a shit ton, a lot of people that the CPS is literally breaking people's doors down and taking their kids. And so she was saying all sorts of stuff. Like, she was going, she was giving the laws and the different things to look up so that you know your rights. Because she said legally you can do, if someone, there is some sort of thing of a protection law for you and your family. And if somebody's trying to do that, you have the right to shoot, to take care of business however you see fit. And she said you need to be willing to go there with, because once they take them, that's what's going to happen to your child. And that there's no two ways about it. That they take your child, that's it. And they're doing it in such a massive amount of ways. And this lady, who, why again, I think she was a lawyer, because she was like saying that the CPS, the school system has now allowed the CPS to come in and talk to all these kids, like all over the place. They're pulling kids out of classes, talking to them privately with no parents and stuff. It's so criminal, all the stuff they're doing. They're doing so many things that are just, against human rights. But people have to wake up. But she was saying, do not, under any circumstance, they come to your door, do not open the door. And she said, if it's to the point where they're going to start kicking it down, you need to get rid of your cell phone, you got to get a new one, and then you need to take off. You need to go find some place to stay. Don't call people, because they'll trace you and track you. And she said, until this is over, because the overstep, the overreach is just completely out of control. And I saw another one talking about the other agencies too, like cops and stuff like that. Like, they're all the people who are out there just still trying to work. There's something like missing in their processing. Like, they're having a problem processing or something, because they're just following orders. And it's so strange that they just do what they're told, even though it's causing destruction and harm and pain. And you can notice what's happening to our country. And they are participating. I mean, they are the initiators of so much of this stuff. And so, there's more stuff of that. And to me, it's just, keep to yourself and mind your business. And every single thing that you do, that you go out and participate in any way into the system, is an opportunity for the system to suck you in. Like, especially right now where the roads are bad, just going out driving and getting into a fender bender get you, into a huge ordeal at this point. So, to me, it's like, I've seen a lot of live footage of areas with the blizzards and stuff. I've seen like wind and people's houses, like walls and windows freezing inside. And, I don't even know about the people who aren't prepared, because that's the other thing with the videos that you see, is these people who are just still trying to live like nothing is different, nothing's changed. This was weird too, because I don't know how long ago I said this, but about anybody who keeps trying to participate in the system, it's just going to become more and more mundane, more and more questionable. Like, there's no way to just continue to be oblivious. And if you are oblivious, you're going to have a big impact of something is going to jar you awake. And so, and just seeing, like the footage of people talking about like the shopping and crowds and, and people shouldn't do this and people shouldn't do that. It's like, that is your biggest thing you got going right there. Like, this is so weird. Like, I sent, my check did come in. So the Social Security did come in. And I just sent money to my kids and stuff. Like, I'll just sit here with Stella, and to me, it's not like, especially all the stuff I've seen now about what the real holiday represents, like where it came from and stuff. It's like, I'm not into it. I do have my sparkly tree back there, but I'm not into the whole whatever, I don't know. But, just seeing some of those people and just, oh my God. I mean, there's just like these content creator people who just, look at all this great fast food I just got. Oh, look at this great coffee drink. Oh, this one, man, this was disturbing. And this to me also shows like there's just something not clicking in people's heads. Like it's weird. So this was a woman sharing a video, somebody else's TikTok that she found disturbing. So it was like a stitch, I think. Yeah, stitch, because she added hers. So anyways, she had stitched, like, watch this video and tell me what you think. And so I watched the video, and it was like, it was hard to look away. It was just like, what in the hell? It is so shallow. Like, and this is for real. Like, this is really how this person, I mean, it is sad that people are this desperate in life. I just seen another one. I'll tell that one in a second. But so this one was this woman. So I would say she was probably, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s. She had 2 kids. One, I think, was like 9 or 10 years old, maybe 11. And then the other one was like maybe 4 or 5, something like that. Oh, no, I bet you that little one, she was more like 2 or something. And you know what? What's strange, is that when you take a kid to the nail store, it's $10 to get a manicure for a kid. Sometimes maybe 5. They don't, there's nothing to do but, they just kind of, clean them up a little and then paint them. Like, it's real simple. It's not a big deal. This girl, is sitting in a Mexican restaurant. The table is just jam-packed full of food and all sorts of plates and stuff. She's got her little tiny daughter sitting here. She's talking about, how important it is, how great her nails being done make her feel, it's so important. Nails, getting your nails done, especially at this time of year, anything you just want to look good. You want your nails to look good, blah, blah, blah. And her nails were probably $50 or something. And then the little one over here, I don't know about how much her nails were, probably, a couple bucks. I swear to God, if you tip the fucking lady, she'll do them for free if you got a little kid there and you're getting some service done. And then, so she's talking about, like, I swear to God, I don't even know, just like, oh, and my nails, and, oh, and by the way, my Starbucks drink, you can't even go without any time. She's kind of like Laura Linney in The Truman Show. That is how ridiculous she was. That is exactly how she was about this shit. It was bizarro world. And then she starts giving her story. Well, we went to go get our nails done today because, we're just out doing those girl things, and everything is like this, Disney Plus. I'm so fun. Look how cool I am. It's so weird. It's like, oh my God. And so she had her other daughter, the 10-year-old, the one that would, be traumatized by this. She had to call her dad, and her dad wouldn't give her money to get nails, so she didn't get to get her nails done. So, but she just got to sit there and watch. But she gets to come out to lunch with us. Look at all our food. Oh my God, because we know how to do it. We do it right. And look at, oh, my little baby girl's nails. Oh, poor you. You don't get yours done. It was like, it was disturbing. It was like, how cut off from reality are you? Like, it's creepy. And then another one I had seen, and this was sad too, but it was real, it was vulnerable. And this girl, she has the whole video very dark. Everything is dark. And then she has this t-shirt, just says like one word on it. I can't remember what the word. And then she is, heavy set. And so she has like a big round face. And so, the video it's cool. It's like very, I don't know, just, it was like aesthetically pleasing. just the whole coloring and just her face. She had a cool looking face, even though I'm sure she hates her face. And so she is all heartfelt and talking about, you know, how much she gives stuff away on her platform because she's just trying to be liked. She just wants to be liked. She's come from this past of so much trauma where nobody was ever there for her. Nobody ever protected her. And now she's so desperate just to have somebody like her, and how hard it is and how much work she puts into just trying to get somebody like her. And that's the problem, see, in our society, how people are going about trying to just get someone to like me. Just if you liked me, that would probably mean I was okay. If you liked me, even better. You know, everybody thinks, you know, oh, that person right there. So you give them over your power. If that person liked me, I would mean I had worth. So you give them your power. And if they don't give it back, then, you know, you're just, you know, like a pancake that won't cook or something. You know, it's just like you're just flattened and empty. And so the thing is, and I said in her comments, is the blessing is learning to love you. You don't need the whole world to love you if you learn to love yourself. And I didn't say that part. I said a couple more things, but you know, that is the thing, is, you know, that is going to be coming to the surface for so many people. You know, they have to realize it, they have to see it, you know, like, why am I giving and giving and giving? Like, I'm going to get something back. The people are there for the free thing, you know, and just, you know, just like these girls, like, who go and put on all this makeup and then put on a bra and then sit and talk, like, and then complain that people are treating them like they're sexual. Like, I just don't even, like, it's weird, like, how these people are so blind to themselves as they're exposing everything about themselves. You know, like, I can see who you are, but you think, like, if you're showing what you think, you're showing something so people don't see who you are. But it really, at this time and space in our planet, it shows who you are. And then it kind of just shows, you know, your oblivion to yourself. So it is just, so many people are just not aware of themselves. They're always looking outside of themselves. They're always thinking that they're going to feel better if somebody else can make them feel better. And it doesn't come from anybody else. It only comes from inside of you. That's the only place that you're going to find the peace that everybody is desiring. And like, everybody is, like I said, at all different points on the spectrum of awakening. It's very strange to see people just sit and talk about things that are so... I saw, this was another weird video. Like, this guy, he's trying to catch his Karen. Like I told you, like, that seems to be something where everybody's like, oh, well, that's acceptable. I can bully a Karen. I mean, if they say something to me, then I can, you know, I can be as big as a dick as I want. I can try and totally dox them or whatever, you know, put them all over the internet and all this shit. So this guy is doing that to this woman, and he's confronting her, and she's coming up the stairs to go home, and she's got to pass his apartment. And so he starts yelling at her, saying shit to her. And so she stops, and she's just looking at him like, she's kind of like, what? And then so I think she says something, and she walks up the stairs, and then maybe she says something like, I'm not arguing with you or something. I don't remember. So she walks up the stairs, and he says, well, bring your husband back down here. So she comes back down. And so I don't know if this is through his doorbell camera or what, that she's talking, because she's outside his door. So you can hear him talking. I swear to God, it seemed like they were talking through the door. It was very strange. But she is saying, look, I'm not trying to start trouble with you. He's all mad because she kicked his doormat. So he has a doormat out from his door, and this, you know, in this outdoor apartments, like when they're walking from apartment to apartment, they're outside. They're not in a building. And so he has a doormat up in front of his door. And so she knocked it or kicked it or turned it over or something that morning when she had left to go to work. So he's sitting there arguing and, trying to be so confrontational with her. And she's just like, look, I think I don't understand why you changed to this doormat to begin with. Why you have to have fuck on your doormat? I've got little kids. Why do my kids and I have to walk past your doormat that is saying, she kept saying something like, the F word or fuck. I don't remember. So I don't know the whole thing. I mean, does his doormat just say fuck? Or is he like, I don't know. And he was just like, I can put it whatever I want out there. And I was like, okay, dude, so you're trying to make her into the Karen. But really, to me, you look like the Karen because you're having so much disrespect for your community. Like, there's a purpose to community. And like I was saying yesterday, it's important to be in alignment with your community. And weirdly enough, after I said that yesterday, I saw 2 more videos of people out. Like, one of them was a guy, it was already snowy there, and he was out walking in his neighborhood. And the houses look like, pretty nice houses. And so he's walking around and he's saying, when you move into a community, you really want to, because he said he moved to a place that he really wanted to live. It's so beautiful and he loves it. But he's like, you really need to know your community where you move, because it all has to do with the community, the people you're around. And he shows his street up and down. He said, see this? Like, you think like, oh, these houses look pretty nice. I don't look at them like that now. I just look at them as like, ugh. And he said that, and nobody comes outside. They're all just locked up in their houses all the time. And see, that is like, to me, it's a thing of the past. That's not how it's going to stay. Like, people are going to change from that. And I saw other people also yesterday also saying, I think he did too. He was saying something about community gatherings and stuff like that. But I've seen more people saying it. So I know that there is going to be a big movement about that. But it does make a huge difference over, finding your tribe. Like, back in the day when they lived in tribes, like, you wouldn't be like, oh, well, I'm a Navajo, but I'm going to go over here and live with the Shawnee for a while. You just have people you're more in alignment with. And so I think that is, something to be aware of. And I've definitely learned that moving over here. And not to say that any of these people are bad people or something. Have recognized I'm not in alignment with them at all. Like, I see things that they don't see, and I prioritize things that they don't prioritize. And what things are important to me aren't important to them. So, and that's what, I want to be more involved with people who, have my same kind of priorities. Like, they care about the same thing. They care about the planet and care about how they treat others. And, that it is important to be respectful to other people if you want to have a flowing community. If you want people to, if everybody wants to feel good and be happy, then they have to put that energy out. You have to go out into the world and put that out there. And so, I want to be around people who understand their role in this world. So, I don't know. I just think, there's going to be a lot of stuff just breaking up, like right now, whatever is going to go down in some of these states. Like, I don't even know. Like, I think today's Thursday. I don't know. It could be Friday. I'm so lost on days and time. But I think it's Thursday. But so I think today is supposed to be the worst day. Today and tomorrow. I don't know. Some of the, like yesterday in Montana, it went from 27 degrees to 0 degrees in 3 minutes. They dropped that. I saw footage of like, I think Montana. It seems like Nebraska. There was a couple places I saw where it was like below 65. Like, I mean, it is absurd if you really, realize or understand like what they're doing. Like, that is so fucking extreme. And and so while I'm sitting here, and keep seeing this footage of the map and what's going on in all these places, and I'm feeling like, gosh, I feel like, fuck, lucky to just have like the stuff that we have. Like, it's a lot of snow, but I saw another place where it was like 6 foot. Oh, and the Northern California, I saw a woman talking about that earthquake. She was up in Humboldt County and she lives there. And she said she's lived there for 40 years or something. And so she said, I've been through lots and lots of earthquakes. And this one, she said it was a 6 something. When she did a video, the very first, when it happened and the power went out, and she was like real traumatized, and we just had an earthquake. It was so bad. I can't even believe it. It was so horrible, blah, blah, blah. And then she must have had people like, oh, it wasn't even that bad. It was only a 6, God, drama. Because she did another video kind of responding to, the dastardly people. And she was like, talking about the earthquakes and stuff. And she's been through a lot. And she said, this one was probably one of the most violent earthquakes I've ever been through in my life. And so, and I had heard that it was just 10 miles below, which that's always a sign, is the tunnels is what I had seen about. And so, they're blasting under there. I mean, Humboldt County is big on like, I would imagine that there would be some tunnels under there for sure. Like, there's if you go and look at some older documentaries and stuff about it up there, when they were growing weed, and then it became like weed wars up there. Like, they've had some crazy shit go on up there. And it is she even said, we're the true Northern Californians. Like, there's a whole part of Northern California that exists with a lot of people, a lot of rural people, mountain people above San Francisco. And so, all that whole area up there. And, that is where some people would think like those people are like the hillbillies or something, because they are like, they'll police it themselves. They're mountain people. And they've got no problem taking you out. And so there's like a lot of drama and stuff that's gone up there. So that's why I would think like for sure there would be tunnels, or I'm sure there's access to all sorts of stuff, like I would imagine. So I would think like if they were blowing stuff up there, it would be dramatic. So I don't know. I just found that interesting. And I saw another person. She had been living in the place for 40 years. I can't remember what she was talking about with her place, but she said, where people keep saying blah, 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 blah. But she said, this is the first time it's ever been like this. And so a lot of people, I think, are starting to see the significant changes. Like, this is too weird. One lady was just talking about that she had looked the thing up and it said that this wasn't even going to have snow this year, and unless there was some dramatic thing that happened. So the dramatic thing that happens is the chemicals and all their shit that they do. I just can't even believe, like, to go to the extreme to bring like Siberian winds through here. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there was a lot of people probably flash frozen. No telling, how many people were not prepared at all. I guess I saw some footage of in Colorado where all the stores were emptying out of snow shovels and all of those kinds of things. So, there's a bunch of people just going and buying it right then. So I don't know about in all these places, but, it's just people just don't pay attention in life. They're just worrying about what's going to happen on the weekend and who they're going to see and where they're going to go and what happened last weekend and what's their husband doing. And I don't know. It just is oblivious to what's really going on in real life. Because in real life, this world is falling apart all around you. And the stuff coming out, too. I had just seen this other guy, and he was talking about he lost his accounts when he was talking about true stuff. And he is a journalist, and he was talking about stuff that they weren't allowed to talk about. And so he lost his account. And so he's thinking about getting a lawyer to do the money thing. And but when he was talking about all this stuff, because it happened a while ago, it didn't just happen. He said that a government agency came out to his house too. I was like, oh my gosh, you're the first one I've heard say that. I heard one other girl before say that the FBI showed up at her house to ask questions. And I think she was one of those, I don't know if she was a January person or what, I think that she had something, I'm not sure. But anyways, he was the only other person who I had seen where, where I had the Secret Service come out and then, have me sign all those papers. And since it was early in 2020, I didn't even know all of my rights then. But I don't even know still right now if I would have pushed on that, because so many of the people who are the ones we're fighting don't know the rights. So to them, you're just a crazy person, you need to be locked up. And now, how they've put that out, that we are the people who are talking about the truth and stuff that are anti-government. We're the problem. We are, that's who they want to lock up. And they said that it is put us in these camps to re-educate us or something. And there's something about that. I don't know if they want to start that in January. There was another thing in California that they're starting in January, that no doctors are allowed to say anything. Like a doctor can't go in public and say anything, that they have to keep their mouth shut, basically, or they lose their license. And this woman was like, well, that's not fair. We have to go in and pay doctors for their opinions. We can't even, the doctor can't go on the news now and give their opinion about something. And so to me, it's clear why is the system. I saw the system protecting itself because it's lying bullshit. And I saw this other one too, where this woman, and I don't know if she's a lawyer or she was I don't know what her thing was, but she was trying to help teachers. And so I guess with all these teachers who got out of school, they made them sign these contracts. And if they don't fulfill these contracts, they have to pay all this money back. And this girl was responding to this one girl who's a 22-year-old teacher who now is leaving. She was like, this it's ridiculous. She must be older than 22. I think they were saying you shouldn't be locking it. So this woman, she was still young, like, I don't know, maybe 25 or 26. She'd only done teaching a short time, and maybe a couple years or something. And then she was like, this is ridiculous. And what they put in the contracts, you have to work at a school where there's no funding, so there's nothing you can do. Then you have to do this other thing. You have to work 4 years in California, like all this weird shit. And then if you don't fulfill it, then you have to pay this back. This woman was talking about she has to pay $11,000 back to this one grant. And then she has to pay, there's another grant like called Teach grant or something. And so there's all sorts of teachers that are leaving because this woman who was selling it was like, the system is showing how broken it is to these teachers. And so many teachers are leaving. But see, then you have the other group of teachers who have just lost their minds, who are calling in CPS and letting them come in and talk to kids and pushing kids. I saw one damn ass lady well, parents don't have any rights. Like, she's the advocate for the child, especially these children whose parents don't acknowledge their gender misidentity or some bullshit. It's like, okay, so these are the people who are out working still, like the cops, the teachers, the doctors. This, like I said, the system is just going to continue to fall apart, and anybody holding on is going to feel the pain. And I just saw again that one video of Cliff talking, and he said again, when these people wake up, which is about to happen. I mean, there's so much stuff coming out. There's no getting around it. Like, oh my God. They're just, I don't even see all the stuff released. I just see people talking about the stuff released. There's no getting away from it. It's going to just keep coming and coming in hotter and hotter. And he's, especially the people who have all got these, when they realize what they have in there and that they have poison and stuff, they're going to freak the fuck out. And he said, the good thing about for society is it won't be towards each other. It's going to be very directed. And that's what I kept saying. That's where I think, like pharmacies are going to go up in flames. The doctor's offices are going to go up in flames. Like there's going to be, if I was a medical person in my community and people knew, I sure the fuck would be, moving or hiding or something if I had woke up, because people are going to go crazy. They're going to be blaming people. Why didn't you tell me? I just saw this woman, and she was something with blood. And so she had taken her own blood and she was looking at it under a microscope. So she's obviously a biologist or something, because she knew what she was looking at. And she also knew, or microbiologist, and she also had pictures of the other stuff that had been found. And so she took blood out of her friend, who I think didn't have any, and then the woman who was doing it, she did have some, and she took hers. And so she looked at both under the microscope of her friends. It all looked clear. In hers, she had worm looking things, and so going in and looking and stuff, so it was injected with the GR stuff and parasites. So those were put in on purpose. And I also saw this doctor who was talking about MS, and every single autopsy, she said every single one, it's 100%. And also they're finding this in cancer too, in the autopsy and stuff. But 100% of she said lesions, when they go in and they do these x-rays and stuff, or scans, and they say you have lesions. She said they're really parasites. They're egg sacs and stuff, and that's what MS is. It's parasites. And it's the same with cancer. It's all of it. Every single ailment that anybody has, first thing they need to go to is just start going on the detox, doing all the different ones, whatever. I've seen so many. Oh my gosh, there's so many parasite cleanses out at this point, like it is serious business. And I see all these people talking about all of their ailments and stuff. Like this woman, she has Hashimoto's, so she has thyroid disease, and her hair's been falling out so bad. And, just go in and you got to detox. Every single person's got detox. And, I had a scan. It was like 20 years ago, I think, and I'm pretty sure I talked about this before, because when they were trying to figure out all my stomach issues, and they had scanned, and then they just got like a little part of my lungs. They didn't get the whole thing, and it was a bunch of lesions in my lungs. And so they called me, and I was at home, and they said, you got to go do another scan, that you have lesions in your lungs, and we needed to look at them. And so I was devastated that day, because I was already a nurse and I already knew what lesions in your lungs meant. And so I was like, fuck, I fucking got lung cancer. I don't even smoke. And I was just like, whatever, like I was pretty devastated, and I just tried to stay calm. And then I went and did the other test, and then they told me that, because they said I have them in my head too, that they are protein deposits. And so now I'm curious, now that I've done these cleanses, do I have any of these lesions or these protein deposits? Protein deposit, like, isn't it like a worm or whatever, or protein? Like, so I don't know. I see it over and over and over and over with doctors, nutritionists, holistic people, everybody saying how important it is for you to do these cleanses, and how so many people are so full of worms, like really, really full. Like I did some diatomaceous earth again yesterday, and I haven't had anything. So, every time I do some cleanse, I don't see anything come out of me. Even when I did that turpentine one, which I feel pretty good about, because again, I heard about, like, I'm pretty sure it's the turpentine one, because the person was saying some of the cleanses are so toxic, that are so intense, that the worms will start coming out your eyes, your nose, your ear. They'll start trying to escape your whole body. And that is what I had heard with the turpentine one. And I didn't have anything like that coming out of me. So I look in there, and apparently when you do, they float up to the top. So it's real obvious. And a lot of people have even, tried scooping them out to show them. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff. And then those other things, those liver flutes or whatever, they look like kind of like a pine cone, or like a stink bug or something, without the legs, but they just have like a pine cone little shape thing to them. And those all float on the top too. And those are really, really bad. The liver flutes, I saw another doctor talking about the liver flutes, and that can kill you. Like, you've got, like, there's so much stuff. People are sick, but they're sick with the wrong, they're sick with something different than what they think. And then they get sicker and sicker because they have them chasing something that doesn't exist, and then have them keep taking stuff to weaken them more. It's just like, oh my gosh, man. I swear, today is the 22nd though. So yesterday was the solstice, and then today is the 22nd. So it's so crazy. Like, it's about to be, I don't know. It's everything. Everything is off on time. Everything is off on everything. And then, I still feel weird. I swear to God, I feel like I don't feel any different when I'm in a dream, when I'm asleep, than I do in this right now. Like, I'm so aware of this reality as being different than, I don't know how to explain some of this stuff, I swear. And I've seen more, like this one woman. She was like, this is an older woman, and she's like, I'm really tired of you people coming on saying you're empaths and psychic all the time. And she's like, you're not all empaths and psychic. Like, I'm sorry to say, but you're just not. And so she starts saying, wherever she lives, I don't remember where she lived, but so she said, 15 years ago, when I came here and started setting up my practice with the Reiki and all our healing modalities and tarot and stuff. So she'd been doing this for 15 years. And so she said, and now all of a sudden, all around, everywhere, is psychics and empaths, and everybody thinks that. And she could, like, they just, like, immediately when they wake up, they immediately think that they are psychic and empath, and they just, and see, it's all part of the ego. There's so much where they just go straight into ego. But see, that's all going to be exposed, because truly the universe is going to show what they want to move forward and how they want it to move forward. And I know that part of the stuff they want to do is to help people know their own power. So it's going to be, and I don't know, how I come across or whatever. It's always in the receiver. So, but the universe knows who they're going to promote and how they want to promote them, and what is the messages they're trying to get out, and who's really giving their messages and stuff. And so people who are all stuck in ego, who, are just, it is also a narrative. Like, there's a whole spiritual mislead, and I talked about it for a long time, like the super souls. You think like there's no work to it. You just sit in meditation and, all day long and stay positive, and you put yourself on a different timeline, and you bring yourself millions of dollars and all that stuff. Even this morning, I was sitting there thinking about that thing where, I had a dream, you dreamt it. You dreamt it before you did it, like that whole concept. Because, like I said, it isn't you just coming up with something. It is a communication. If you're just trying to push something and it's hard and it's not working, it's because you came up with that. It's not the universe. Anything that the universe wants you to do, it's easy. You don't have to fight. It will just go into its own thing. And, in order to get in that flow, you have to tune into yourself and follow your own direction. So, the, but the people who are trying to force things, it's going to always feel uncomfortable. But, to me, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be shown that they should still be learning, not teaching. But then that is going to be a whole thing for a lot of people to see. I shouldn't be following. I should be, becoming more of myself. It's not, there's a way to go out and just get all the information, go out and find out information. You can find out so much information just going in and reading comments and seeing how people think and stuff. When you read it, your guides will give you communication. They'll give you instincts and insights and direction. They'll give you little snippets so that you see clearly on some things. So anyways, there's all sorts of ways to, keep in flow for yourself, especially if you're confused. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Right now, we're kind of in a stagnation anyways. Like, everything is holding us down. The weather. I'm so glad that I was really trusting my guidance, my instincts or whatever, about staying here, no matter how much, I wanted to just go out and go and live in my car and take Stella and go down south and go someplace warmer and just, do whatever. And not doing that because, oh my gosh, the people who have done that, now they're in their cars. And I would think, I'm curious to see what some of this wind damage is going to be. Like, it doesn't seem like it's less than a hurricane or a tornado than to have the wind going like that. Like, when you saw the wind through the people's windows and stuff, it looked like a scary movie. And you could hear it, and it's hitting their houses and stuff. It was so freaking loud. And I would imagine it's got to, like, be, I don't know, maybe not knock over houses, but I would think, like, I would think it could knock a camper, or I don't know. It's gonna be curious to see, what happens after all this storm. And here, so I looked at our weather today, so it's like 2 degrees or something. It's so fucking cold. But Spokane is 10 below. And other places are, 50 below. So, 2 degrees, it sounds like I'm in the luxury warmth. And so I looked at our thing, and starting tomorrow for the next week, it's just rain, 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 rain. And so then I was like, okay, so it's just rain, 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 rain. What the hell? The temperature has to go up for it to be raining and not snowing in the old science. So now, I don't know the temperature thing. It says it's raining every day. It says it's going to go from 21 to like 37 or 40 or something like that. So, and then just rain And I was like, oh, maybe that is going to be our fucking thing. Then it's going to start. Because then right after, or just a minute ago or whatever, I had seen somebody else talking about something with the weather and something with the rural mountain communities and it being hit with floods after all this or something. I was like, oh, motherfucking shit. Oh, damn, I swear to God, I want this to start. Oh my God, it's just one thing after another. It's like, oh, damn, I cannot wait. But so all this snow that they have, which if it's like 2 feet by me, it's got to be a foot and a half. I would think it's got to be almost 2 feet. I can't even believe how much snow. Yeah, as I would say, I can't imagine it not being, it's got to be 14 or 15 inches, 16 inches. Maybe it's not 2 feet. I don't know. I should just measure it, but it also depends on how the wind blows in the different parts. Like you can go out and measure one part that's really deep and another part that's not. It just was a big, so there's a ton of snow. And then they're going to start the rain. And I was like, oh, that will, because all of that snow, which I think is some sort of a gel. I even swept it yesterday. And it keeps coming in on our shoes and on our stuff when we go outside. Stella wants to go out and get, and I have to go out and get wood. And I'm going to have to go out to my wood shed and bring a bunch of wood up. I've already gone through all that wood. I'm like, ah, damn. I was a half a quart that I went through just since I had, well, no, I put a little bit in the wood shed. So I put like, yeah, but by the end of today, yeah, I will have gone through a half a quart. So I think I've gone through a quart of wood for sure. I think more than a quart. And I bet you a quart and a half just since winter started. It's mental. So mental. But if that starts going, I was and then all those dead trees that they have on the mountains, I was like, oh, that would be a mud flood. I don't know. So just see how they're gonna play this out and how, if we're gonna keep going in the storms after this. If I don't know. Like I mean, we're so close to the 23rd. I mean, 2023, which I think there's going to be a lot of stuff, but is it going to be like real quick? Is it going to be just like one day this is happening and the next day something else? Like I know that the energy is going to turn abruptly, go the other direction. And that, but also the abruptness can be, a concept that is taking weeks to do. And it is a slow process because it's got to hit all different places and all different people and all different areas and stuff. So, man, my stomach is growling. So I don't know about that, but what I do know is that there's a shit ton of dead trees, like a whole fucking thing. And then they're going to come with the mountain floods. Man, that's going to just really suck. I just, one weather thing after another. And then Stella can't be going outside. So if she goes outside, she can't be out there that long. It's got to be freezing her feet off when she goes out and walks around. And then in my porch, the snow somehow miraculously blew into my woodshed, all on my porch. My porch is all snowy, and so I have to keep sweeping it. And it is so slippery. It's like some sort of gel left behind. It's like they're putting and all that stuff, whatever all this shit is that they've put on us, is all going to absorb into the soil. And then, oh man, God, I'm just, fuck. It's just so shitty, But, no matter what, shit is blowing up. Like the stuff on Twitter being released, and I think just more and more. I don't know, at what point this platform is going to turn. I don't know when all the things are going to turn. Like, I'm still waiting for my shit to show me my truth. So, we all have a truth inside of us that we've been told or shown, or, whether people are in denial of it or just think, oh, that's just my fantasy. That could never be, you know, I have a different way of seeing things. When they're showing you, it's like they show you your future. They show you how to get there. They show you the whole thing, but you have to step into what they show you. You have to trust. And so, anyways, I have a whole thing with my truth. So I'm still waiting to have my truth shown to me so I can see. And so, and it's funny too, is because, like there's so few people who get to hear, get to hear me talk. I think that you guys would have already told me, like, Kelly, you're such a hypocrite. Oh, Kelly, you just talk nonsense. Or, well, if somebody comes in and tells me to talk nonsense, I would just block them because I would think they just don't see and I don't have time for your bad energy. I had a couple people the other day on TikTok come in and start, with their negative, hateful shit like that. And I was like, just block them. Just fucking, people want to carry their hate around with them and they don't want to try and do better. It's an individual choice. We all make a choice, who we want to be, what we want to put out in the world. And every single day you get an opportunity to make a new choice. Every minute, every second is a portal to a new opening. Every door you walk through is a chance to be somebody different, to be something different, to make a different choice. So everything is an opportunity in your life to do something different. You don't never locked into who you want to be. Just like to that one girl, when you can't, you got to see that your trauma was there to help you grow in to who you want to be. And so many people get so handicapped by their trauma. And, that is a choice. If you're going to just sit there and hold your bag of apples and cry about it, then, you'll get to the other side and you'll look and go like, oh my God, I cannot believe. Like I wasted all that. I had all of that time to be alive, all of that time to experience, all of that time, and experience can, to me, just be to hold someone's hand and feel that energy of what it feels like to be, in other people's energy, in conversations and stuff like that. Like there's so much about life, but people are just chasing the wrong thing, chasing this dream of success, of who they can become instead of really, trying to become who they want to be. They focus on the idea. My daughter is going through that hard, man. And, she is, just really realizing how much of her life she had created for this person that she wanted to be, but it was like overwhelming. She couldn't keep up with what she was creating. She was putting too much on herself, and there was no room for her anymore. She was being left out of her own life because she was trying to do all these things to please others and be perfect and be successful. And that's why people have to reprioritize. What do those things mean? What does that look like? What is success? Because to me, success isn't, having like a fancy car and a fancy house. I just saw this guy sharing this video and he was showing his new place just got built or something, and showing his property was huge. The part you could see, because he was standing pretty far back from his house. His house was huge. And then he went to do a tour in the house. I flipped past it. I'm just like so over people just with this ostentatious, like, oh, look at me, look at everything I have. I'm so wonderful. I'm so successful. Look at all this. It's like, that's not success. Yeah, what are your relationships like? What do people feel when you walk out of the room? That is what is important, is your energy. What are you putting out in the world, and what are you leaving behind? And those are the things that we all need to consider. And that is what the universe is pushing us into, make us consider. It's how things have to move forward. And, and there's definitely, I think next week, there's going to be a lot less people on this planet with us from what there was this week. Like, I'll be shocked if a lot of people don't, even if it is the gel or whatever that was sprayed on us, people are going to get sick. I saw this one lady was talking about, she was waiting to pick up her kid, her 6-year-old at school. And so you have to wait in that circle thing, and all the moms are sitting there waiting for their kid to come out. And suddenly an ambulance and a fire truck come pulling up. So everybody moves out of the way, and they go in with a small stretcher and come back out. And she said, well, we're all sitting there like, oh my God, who's coming out? And she said it was a 6-year-old who just had a heart attack. So, there's going to be, I don't know how much stuff that is being dumped on us right now is going to cause more of that. And no matter what, people have got to see there's such a huge attack on the kids. Like, there's the big reduction right there. If they can't have kids, if they aren't, because they figure the rest of us are going to die. I mean, they're going hard on those of us who are over 60. Like, we've had our time here. Like, our time's up. Okay, Relic. What are you about, 250? 250, and you're going to tell me my 60 years I've taken up too much space? Fuck off. Your time is up. That's whose time is up. The relics will be gone. And those of us who are here, we will have our heaven on earth. And we'll be creating exactly the world we want. And so, bye-bye, relics. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.